Joe Biden, as we all know, has worked to overcome a stutter. How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable
you are
to
no
watch somebody on stage search for
that's so
questions.
amazing.
You're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were
stuttering.
mocking his stutter.
Yeah,
I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's cognitive decline.
And it's very concerning to a lot of people that this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay.
That is all I'm saying. I genuinely feel sorry for Joe Biden.
I appreciate it. I'm sure it was from a place of concern. We all believe that. Laura Trump, thank you so much.
Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate and slave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule because you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to, because I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about Bill Gates and the mark of the beast and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring. And George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil. Chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk a doubter, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati.
Knowing what I know now, obviously, I feel tremendous humility about my coverage, that Laura Trump interview, for example, et cetera.
We'll
she saw something that I did not see at the time, 100%. And I own that. I did ask Joe Biden to be transparent about his health records in an interview in 2020. I did ask him about the fact that voters
but then he wasn't.
Thought that he was not transparent at all. No,
he promised you that he would be transparent about his health records, and then he wasn't. And you know as well as I do that there's a way of, you can say, "Hey, there's this poll on your age," or you could say, "You just forgot that Jackie Walorski was dead, 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 dead."
It's May 2025. Do I wish that in that 10, 15-minute interview I had with Biden in October 2022, that this had been the only subject, because I had then
Well, it wasn't
what I know
just that,
now.
though, Jake. It wasn't just that. I mean, you sat with him a couple of times in the course of his presidency, and these issues were not pressed. Well, there was at least that time, and then there was the time at the beginning. And but separate and apart from that, you covered the Biden's presidency. No. Let me just finish my point. You covered the Biden presidency.
I had one
okay,
interview
right.
with
And
him
it was
during the
13 days
presidency.
after the Jackie Walorski thing. But you covered the Biden presidency aggressively throughout the 4 years, and you didn't cover mental acuity hardly at all. I mean, time and time again, when issues came up, you seemed to be running cover for the president.
I don't think
interested.
that's true.
Well, I mean, we'll start with the Laura Trump issue that you referred. Here it is.
Ha 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 ha! Jake Tapper, you disingenuous little beta boy weasel greaseball bastard. Man, oh man, were you caught out there by Megyn Kelly. Welcome to the MC Too Tall Show. I, of course, am your host, the hardcore, fierce, and sexy master of sound quality, MC Too Tall. Now let's get into this, shall we? Okay, at the beginning of this video, you saw a clip dating back to, I believe, 2019 or 2020, sometime when Joe Biden was still running for president. And Jake Tapper is trying to shame Laura Trump for bringing out the obvious, for saying to Jake Tapper what everybody in America with common sense and a brain and eyes and ears can see and hear. And he's dismissing her like she's some kind of bully picking on the stuttering kid in the schoolyard or something. And it's very very hard to watch, but looking back, it's also kind of funny because now Jake Tapper is writing this whole book about it, and Megyn Kelly is right to cut him down. And for lack of a better term, Megyn Kelly's got more balls than Jake Tapper, as you've seen in the clip following the intro. And there's other people that have some things to say about it, and I'm in full agreement with that as well. Bill O'Reilly, who now hosts the No Spin News on the First TV, had this to say about Jake Tapper.
Now, did you see the diversion, deflection on that? Okay, that's what happens when you're losing a debate. You go to another topic. Okay, so no, it has nothing to do with this. And I'll cover Miss Noam in a moment. Nothing to do with it. But Cuomo's not a phony. He's not Jake Tapper and the others. Cuomo's not like that. All right? I would never do Tapper. He's the worst. He's making money off his deceit. Tapper deceived us. Now he's making money off it. By saying, oh, no. You don't get worse than that. Cuomo's not like that. But he believes that we don't have a right to know if Biden had cancer while he was in office. Stunning. Stunning.
Yep. And Bill O'Reilly went on to say, first of all, not dignifying that book by mentioning the title of it. I don't even know the title of it. I don't care to know the title of it. But anyway, without dignifying that book by mentioning the title, he goes on to say that he doesn't have to bore you with what's on there. He doesn't have to mention what's on there because anything that's in that book is what he's been reporting already for years. People ignored Bill O'Reilly. People have ignored Tucker Carlson. People have ignored Sean Hannity. Megyn Kelly also reported on this. Dana Lash also reported on this. Jesse Kelly reported on this. So many other people have reported on this. Glenn Beck also. Pat Gray. Yeah, you can name a whole bunch of people. Liz Wheeler. There were a bunch of people that reported on this, but those people were conspiracy theorists, or they're just picking on poor, innocent little Joe Biden because of his stutter. Well, he didn't stutter when he was bragging about what he did to the Ukraine president, forcing him to fire a prosecutor that was investigating his son in Burisma. Wow, wow, wow. This is a man that did not have all his marbles and wasn't that great of a guy when he had them. And I said this years ago myself. And you could go back into the archives and see it. I didn't say a lot about it, but I did have my pieces here and there to say about it. I was concentrating on other things at the time, but I did say what I said back then. Now, boy, oh boy, this man is so disingenuous, it makes me sick. It makes me want to puke all over this desk in front of me, all over my monitors, and it's despicable, disgraceful, and disgusting. Yes, Jake Tapper, you self-proclaimed anchor of CNN, You are despicable, disgraceful, and disgusting. And you ought to be ashamed of yourself, like all you other pundits on your network as well as MSNBC. I'm starting to have disdain for this man about as much as lying Larry O'Donnell. Him I truly, truly despise. But Jake Tapper is getting up there. Jake Tapper running around on the low, doing the Christopher Street circuit, looking for dude look like a lady. And I'm not going to say too much about that, but the grapevine, you get some interesting things from the grapevine, let me tell you. So I guess to deflect, he's writing this book. To deflect from how he covered for Joe Biden, he's writing this book as if he's just finding out now. Knowing what I know now. This Joe Biden situation is something that reminds me of when Chris Cuomo went on Patrick Bet-David's broadcast and said, I didn't know then, I know now, this and that. This is the same person that was bashing Joe Rogan for his use of ivermectin, and he had that other catty clown. What the hell is his name? Word association. Sour fruit is a lemon. Don Lemon, right? Yeah, Don Lemon is a guest on his show, and Cuomo and Don Lemon are over there getting all giddy, giggling it up, making fun of Joe Rogan. And what happens? Fast forward, Chris Cuomo catches COVID. His doctor prescribes ivermectin. Boy, oh boy, these people, they backpedal. And Chris Cuomo still never apologized to Joe Rogan for his remarks. I don't know or think he should have to at this point, because Chris Cuomo does not get as many views as Joe Rogan. And Jake Tapper doesn't. And here's a guy that had a promising career in journalism, but chose to use it for propaganda purposes. CNN has become a propagandist network, and a buffoonish one at that. MSNBC, another propagandist network. But they're a little bit more evil. CNN is funny, at least. Especially when they had guys like Brian Stelter on there. The way he attempts to make people believe what the hell he's saying was funny. But MSNBC's straight up evil. This is all a plot to take down Donald Trump, to simply ignore that the alternative was something that would put the country in horrible shape. And where do we begin when we talk about the Biden presidency and how horrible it was? How horrible times were in his tenure as president of the United States. Now they're showing clips from Axios when he was interviewed about the classified documents and how he was getting dates wrong, how he was messing up the dates and times and the circumstances by which his son Beau died. this man is not tuned into the same channel as the rest of us. And boy, oh boy, we have problems, yo. We got problems if we're still watching CNN and looking at that as news. CNN has become another thing whose very name is a contradiction of what it actually is. You don't get news from the cable news network. Black Lives Matter don't care about black lives, because if they did, they would be marching, trying to get the gangs out of Chicago. Antifa, they're not anti-fascists, because if they were anti-fascists, they wouldn't be promoting fascist tactics. We could go on and on and on. You think the World Health Organization cares about your health or anybody's health in the world? They're a population reduction agency. And they work very closely with Bill Gates, who, in not so many words, pretty much says, we are going to fucking kill you. And Jake Tapper, he's all for that as well. And I could get into that some other time as well, but need I say more, though? Need I say more? This whole broadcast is just to simply say what you probably already knew. Jake Tapper is disingenuous. He's offensively disingenuous. Talk about so many levels of hell where the left belong. Its spokesperson, its false prophet, its frog is Jake Tapper, Snapperhead. Oh my goodness. Jake Tapper snapping his snapper head, getting some of that trapper head. Oh my goodness. So, this is why you have to be honest, to the point. Have something to believe in that's righteous. Have a righteous cause. Always fight against a world with no borders, no guns, no God, and no gold. Because that will only lead to forced atheism, forced socialism. As socialism is like a cancer, it needs to be cut out. We need to stop the socialist influences here in the United States. They have free speech, but we need enough people counteracting their abuse of the free speech to remind the children how buffoonish and how self-sabotaging socialism is. And can't say it enough. Gotta let God guide you, man. Gotta let God guide you. Respect God. Watch out for the Illuminati. Follow and share my wonderful content. Stay strong. Keep kicking that slang. Hiss your boy in the building. Hip-hop legend, recording engineer, underground rock and roll hero, MC Too Tall.